than Johan. I don't even think it's possible because of the way HP works in the game, but I want to try.
In Casey's house rule.
Yeah.
Well, you just need good rolls, and he needs the
He
lowest.
can't get that bad of rolls though, because of the house rule where if you roll below average, you get average. So.
Yeah. What's his?
Doesn't he roll a d12? Is that right?
No, it's a D10.
D10. Okay. So if I roll all sixes and he were to get no, because the D10 is a 6 on average.
Yep.
Damn it.
Yep.
He already gets
you
way
actually
higher.
can't roll higher.
Damn it.
Okay.
Dreams have been crushed.
Any questions before we get started?
If I keep
Yeah,
putting all
can
my
we
points
not
into
play
con, I could pass them.
Something.
Well, we'll find that out. You may or may not have influence over that. We'll see. All right.
Have forgiveness. Have mercy.
So, yeah. So you all had your conversation last night, and so going back to where we were last time. I'm sorry. Got to summarize for posterity. Last time, you all were, realized that Liriana had been captured and was being brutally tortured by a bunch of Quaggoths, and that there wasn't much you could do about it. Fortunately, the GMX Machina Ancient Green Dragon came and did something, and then you rushed off into the Mushroom Forest and found her. And I'm not hearing static balance, so I'm not sure.
It's coming from King.
Oh, okay. You can try to mute him. Oh, yeah, I am hearing him a little bit.
Okay, let me change my... Move my... Okay.
Yeah, you
Is that better?
You do you. I'm not hearing it right now, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still there a little bit.
Okay.
We can deal with it, I think, unless you know something else smart to do.
I just turned up the
I didn't even
voice
notice it
pickup
until
thing.
they mentioned it. So, all right. So yeah. So after scooping up Liriana and running through, you got back to Indplur, the city of the Kuotoa, where you met up with your intrepid counterparts, whose names I totally remember. Those being Tyria, Corin, Hanel, and Anya. And from there, you sort of backtracked. Alistair opened up a little portal, and you got back to the part of the caves that you're familiar with from when you first entered them. Eventually getting back up here to what has become affectionately known as the Cursed Ruby Cavern, where you swapped stories with them. And, alright, so before you all break up watches and get some sleep, anyone want to do anything before that happens?
Gnome salts.
Alright, yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? I was actually just thinking I should maybe impose a penalty if you didn't do that soon. Alright, so, yeah, Fallon does his thing, backs off a short distance away, and lights up. Roll d20.
I should have already had that prepped. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, my mouse was.
Yeah, no problem.
Mm.
Okay. Let me think. So as you fire it up, and start your merry little trip, you glance left, you see your friends, acquaintances, not sure at this point. Definitely something. All sort of talking with each other, rolling out bedrolls, getting situated. You look to the right, and you see a small creature warded with fangs and large ears and horns go scurrying off down the hole at the end of the cavern. You look up, and you don't see the ceiling of the tunnel that you're in. No, you see the sky infinitely far away. You see a giant mouth reach out and swallow a star. You feel yourself falling, and you feel yourself land, and you feel content. That is your experience.
Cool. So I assume I'm laid down on the ground, arms out.
You're whatever you say you are, given what I just said.
Any of the NPCs like reacting to Fallon being just super high?
You don't have to encourage that, but
They definitely notice, but this camera is messing with me. Gosh, they're letting him do him. All right. Anything else from anyone before bedtime? Okay.
No.
So Tyria sort of organizes everyone and divides up watches for the night. Given that Anya and Johann both sensed a nearby demonic presence earlier, and the fact that there are a lot of you, there are like 10 of you at this point, go ahead and triple all the watches. During the first watch, let's actually do this. I'm just gonna go ahead and dictate. Halal and Alistair and Hanno are all sitting up together. Halal, you're sort of rummaging through your pack shortly before you come over. And as you're doing that, Hanno, prior that he is, sort of glimpses... Oh, wait. Actually, no, I did mean for it to be Corin. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. I'll give you Corin.
Reunited gang.
I'll give you Corin because that's actually what I meant to do, and I said the wrong person. So it's totally Corin. Corin, sort of, curious little gnome that he is, looks over as you're rummaging through your pack, and notices an old leather journal-looking thing, and says, "Leo, what you got there? That book looks interesting."
What? Oh. I just open it up a moment, have a look at what's in it.
Okay. You open it up, and the light is dim, but you remember that before there were some impressions on the covers, but the whole thing was blank. But you look it open, and it is, you look at it,
Oh
and
yeah,
it is now...
that journal.
Yeah, that journal. The one that you got from, Fiona? Is that Fiora? What'd I name her? I'm forgetting now.
Yeah, what's her face? Ember something.
Ember Wisp. I remember her last name. Fiona. It was given to you by Fiona. She found it in the library. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a journal a friend of mine found in a library, which surprisingly empty.
Except now you look at it and it's not empty. It's in fact filled with writing. And
Or at least it was empty.
and you look it over, and the symbols are entirely unfamiliar to you. That being said, give me an Arcana check. The symbols are entirely unfamiliar to you. You have some faint hint that you might have seen something like this somewhere before, but you're not sure beyond that.
Gonna ask my boy Quarren if he recognizes it or can make any sense of it.
And he, slightly greedily takes it from your hands. He seems just excited to have found something new. And starts flipping through it and looks it up and down. And he says, "This is written in deep speech." That's awfully strange. I can't really read much of it myself. I only know the first thing about it from when I was at the university, but... Where? You said you got this from a friend at a library?
Yes, I think she had been, browsing the stacks and came across it.
Interesting. And he flips through it some more. closes it, hands it back to you after a while. Maybe looks at it for about 3 minutes. Or no, not even that, like a minute. He's like, well, I suppose we probably need to be paying attention, but that is something you have there. I don't know the requisite spell in order to actually read it myself, but anyways, something to look at when we get to the surface.
Cord, do you
Indeed.
think comprehend languages spell would help us interpret that book?
That is the spell I was referring to. I don't happen to know that spell. Hanel would be able to read it.
Colleen can as well, so maybe one of them wakes up.
Oh, okay, perfect. And he just sort of, goes over to where he's supposed to be sitting and starts...
Start sniffing around other people's bags for other people's stuff.
Yeah, let me see. His wisdom's okay, so he starts dutifully keeping a lookout. Alright, so at this point, does anyone have anything specific they want to do on their watch? I'll go ahead and just say that you're all with your groups from the prequels, so to speak, for your watches. So if anyone wants to do anything in particular, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll just sort of skip through the night.
Is there any wolf interactions? Since there's 2 of them.
Oh, that's interesting. So Thorn would kind of be just off in his own little spot. You notice that he carries himself slightly haughtily for a wolf. Like this one definitely has the I am in charge, I am the responsible one kind of mentality. So wouldn't be interacting with Gmork too much unless Gmork initiated something.
Gmork just ignores the fire out of him like it didn't exist.
Okay.
Is Kale on his watches?
Yeah, I went and just said that you're all with your buddies from the pre-sessions for these.
Okay. Have I collected anything that can be used for poison? Or did I ask, I should have asked for what to sleep. So just with Johan or never mind.
Okay.
No poison kits for today.
Alright. So then there's nothing further. You all watch through the night. You don't notice anything else. Anya doesn't sense any more demons. And you all wake up in what you've decided to call morning. Okay, Brave, we're through the night. And I just said we're now at the point that you've all decided to call morning. So as you're sort of gathering up your things, Hanel, this is where I meant for Hanel to do something, sort of gets everybody's attention and says, before we get going today, I wanted to say a few things. I've had some time to think during the night. So first of all, I went ahead and prepared an identify spell for today. It seemed like you all found some interesting items, so if you want me to quickly let you know what they are, I've got 4 uses that I can use pretty quickly.
I volunteer my ring to him.
Okay. And he takes it, and he doesn't go off for 10 minutes this time. He just sort of touches it, mutters a few words, and he tells you that it is this.
Rip.
Haha. Thank you.
Yep. Looks around at the rest of you. Anything else?
Pick me.
All right. He takes... I assume you're talking about the throwing stars?
Yeah.
All right. And he tells you that they are this.
Ooh.
Well, that's not a. Oh. Wait, let me see here.
It still has uses for the other thing. So
I mean, that being said, you can totally cast light without expending charges. So, since you literally just took that, I will let you change it if you would like.
haha, haha, sneaky, excellent. I'll find something else.
All right, cool. I mean, that being said, if you ever lose the ring, then you
Never.
wouldn't be able to do it anymore. But okay.
Never.
And he sort of looks at the rest of you. We all good? Anything else? Very good. All
Do you
right.
need to take another look at the ruby?
Um,
Would that help you understand it better, or no?
No, I mean, the spell really gives me everything I need to know, but that is actually the next thing that I wanted to talk about, because it's interesting.
Kane kind of takes a half step backward for everyone.
So,
Clutching at your pockets.
I said it was a sort of gate, right? Well, I should probably be more specific. It's a one-way gate, and that thing is the exit. So I was thinking about it, and I'd guess that there's a sister stone to this one. And whoever has that other gem could force open a gate through this one and come right through. So, given all that, you'll understand if the object makes me nervous. I'm inclined to say that we should just leave it where we found it. But that might be dangerous in its own way. And
So I should sell it immediately then.
that would be one possible response, yes. But I was about to suggest that another possibility would be to bring it with us and try to neutralize it. Maybe even a powerful mage could force open the door in reverse. We could use
Destroy it!
potion. That risks the possibility of someone from the other side using it before we know what to do with it. So I'm not sure. Should we leave it here? Should we take it with us? I'll leave the choice to you since you're the ones who found it.
I'm selling it.
Okay.
Can just fuck up the world.
Anyone say anything else, or are you just letting Kane sort of stuff it in his bag?
It's
I feel like
already
we
in my
can determine what we do with it later, Kane.
They don't know where it is.
Yeah,
So-
I
Kill
think
Kane later.
giving it to somebody else might put them in unneeded danger.
Yeah, let Kane hold it.
might be worth more to hold on to.
Fair
Still
enough.
sell.
Just be careful with it. We should, I think, try to do something with it quickly once we get to the surface, since someone could use it at any time, I think.
Is there a
Anyways.
town nearby? The exit?
I mean, small elven villages.
Do they have gold there?
He sort of nods and tilts his head and then turns around and says, "So, Tyria, we were going to be off then." And with that, you all sort of pack up your things and start headed off. You all...
I'm his favorite.
Yep, exactly. You are forever Hanel's favorite. Hey, you don't even know. So you get back to the ledge that you guys came to before. Are you portaling again, or are you just trying to sort of throw a rope down or something?
Oh, we should macho our way down again. Throw a
Anyone,
rope down.
anything?
Throw the rope down.
I'll porter down. I'm
Oh.
not doing this climbing thing.
You'll portal? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So Alistair throws up a portal. Anyone who wants to can do, for this, either athletics or acrobatics to try to scrabble down. I'll tell you
I'm
how
just
it
gonna
goes.
take the portal.
Okay.
Wait, how high up was it again?
20 feet.
What's
Oh
like,
yeah.
how much damage would you take if you fell down? From the top.
Rules is written, if you just fall straight onto the ground from that distance, it's 2d6.
Yeah, you're fine.
That said, Kane totally sort of like comes up to the edge, does a little jump and twists around in the air, goes down halfway, grabs onto a ledge, does a spring into a backflip, and nails the landing.
I just say like 7
Well-
to Alistar since he's already down here from portaling.
I might as well just jump and then slow fall it.
Our portal.
Oh, because you're a monk and you can do that?
There is an Alistar portal.
I can now. So then I can, reduce it by 20 damage.
Doesn't that take like key points?
It just says beginning at 4th level, you can use your reaction when you fall to reduce any falling damage you take by an amount equal to 5 times your monk level.
Oh, yeah, that totally works. Okay,
Oh,
so yeah,
Holy shit!
Halil totally just goes up to the edge. You watch him sort of take a little hop off and then just kind of float down to the ground.
Every level basically gives you like an extra,
Bringing those
almost an extra
lemons
10
to the
feet
top.
of damage you can reduce.
Yeah, holy crap, you can go down so far. Alright. So
You're gonna
yeah.
start leaping off the skyscrapers by level 10.
So you all
If only.
sort of make your way down. Actually, let me see. How should I do this? Anyone who wants to can roll a medicine check. Let's just see if we
Hooray.
notice something.
No.
I pass.
Who am I working on?
It's me. I pass.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No one notices the thing that I was thinking about. All right. So you all make your way down the tunnel. As you get to this sort of near part of the large quartz chamber that you were in before, Fowlin, give me a perception check. Okay, you notice a... So as you're going through this time, before you were kind of making your way slowly in the dark, this time Hanul has a... actually, what does he have? I need to check his character sheet. I think he has a wand. Yeah, Hanul has a wand that he has up, and he is, illuminating the area. And as you walk past Fallon, you notice a small cluster of more purple flowers growing off of a vine. So I assume you're gathering them?
I snatched them.
Yeah, add 8.
Ooh.
You think that there might be areas where these are more common, where just because you guys were in near blackness all the time, you didn't notice that they were there before. Okay. And then at this point, you sort of make your way through this near part and exit back into the quartz cavern. Let me go and throw this up. Boom. All right. And you, again, make your way through fairly uneventfully. Just you hear the plink of water falling into occasional pools. You see the light emanating from Hunnel's wand, sort of refracting off of the crystals. And then, as you make your way, probably about 2/3 of the way through the cave, you hear a call, actually in Elvish, so anyone who knows Elvish will understand this. And let me think.
Thunder.
The call would be, "Hey,
not-
surface
it's not thunder.
dwellers," is what you hear. And out from around sort of a corner, step very clearly 3 wood elves. Two men, one woman, and sort of stand in front of you and the one who appears to be their leader, looks and says, "Is that Liriana?" Wait, I'm sorry. I should introduce myself. My name's Trindir. Who are you?
You one of those shape-changing elves.
Shape. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is just so strange running into you here. We were with the group that came down with Liriana.
Is he still speaking Elvish or is he speaking?
At this point, he switched into common after he heard Kane address him.
Okay. We were the group sent in after you to try and rescue Liriana and yourselves.
Oh. Well, happily, the three of us managed to rescue ourselves. We did still have 3 more companions who I don't think will be making it out anytime soon. But, please, I think we're fairly close to the surface. We can talk as we walk,
What did y'all
perhaps?
do?
Fine. I suppose... I'm sorry, I'm just rather excited to actually see somebody else who isn't trying to capture me or kill me or do some other untoward thing. Yes, so... Do you have any sort of map that might make it easier?
We do. I pull out the scroll of tracing I have.
Oh, perfect. So he points to it, and at the point where you guys got to sort of the bottom left of the nice of the troglodyte cavern, and you guys took the path that was in the middle, he points to the one that was off to the left, the one that sort of ran southward. And he says, so when we came to this point, we took this path, and we didn't get all that far before we were ambushed by drow.
Oh,
How many of you were there again?
Well, 7, including Liriana. I guess Liriana managed to get away from them, but the other 6 of us were captured.
Man.
We haven't stumbled. We've stumbled upon a lot in this cave.
How
None
did
of
you
it
get?
were
How did you get
drow.
away from?
That must be pretty terrible.
Well, it was weeks and weeks of interrogation. I think I mean, you understand, the underground here has been isolated from the surface world so long. I don't know if they thought they could get much out of us, but they thought they could get a lot of knowledge. And we were interviewed, if you understand my meaning.
Not hiding knowledge.
I mean, you understand there are more effective methods than simple torture, although there was some of that as well. Anyways, happily, one night, my guard got lazy and I managed to slip out. I could free these 2, but it was getting too risky after that, so we all took off. Anyways, there's a whole city of them down there.
You left people behind?
There's all kinds of cities down there.
Oh, you've seen more. I suppose it's to be expected.
Seems like there's just as big of a world underneath Einguran than there was above it.
Wait, so they said they left people behind?
I non-agree, by the way.
Pronounced
I know, it's a
yeah.
little weird.
Well,
What were you
us,
saying,
yeah.
You said that they left people behind?
3 of our companions, yes.
This is out of character. I'd like to think Johan, at hearing that, would shake his head because Johanna. But, yeah, okay.
Well,
Oh, yeah, we got,
I mean,
her.
when you say that they're not going to be returning, are you saying there's no chance to rescue them, or that they're already dead?
no, what I mean is that I can only imagine that the drow who are down there will be even more careful about their remaining prisoners. There are many, couldn't learn much given our situation, obviously, but we camped outside the city. I think that we were captured by some sort of clan or guild that operates outside the normal power structure of the city.
Let's not all pretend we want to stay in this cave.
Yeah, I mean, our
Agreed.
first job is we were sent to save and return Liriana safely, but
We did most of that.
that's almost complete, and whether we take her up to the surface or Quarren and his friends do, I don't know if that would
No, we
change
can.
much.
You can go take him. We can
Yeah,
take.
let's go to the
take her.
surface.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Fuck out of these caves.
so we
There
can
are
walk and
also
talk, right?
others stuck down here.
They're not our
Walk
family.
and talk. Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
You can
And
come back.
so as you start walking together, he does sort of gesture towards Lyriana, who's still unconscious, still is not woken up.
She's still growing back pieces.
And
How's that for us going?
wait,
I'll
what?
grow it back. Did she fully regenerate? Did her healing factor take care of
No.
her?
For all that you can tell, it is definitely. So Johann noticed that something might be going on there. The rest of you still see the stumps of fingers and a bit of a hole where an ear is supposed to be. But yeah, he does. Trindir does sort of look at Lyrian and say, "Do you know what happened to her?"
No.
Yes.
We just showed up and
No, we do know
A
what happened
lot
to
of,
her.
a lot of torture.
Nah.
we.
She,
Learn.
Torture.
yeah, she was tortured by a pack of, I forget what the name of that
Qui-Gon.
race.
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinns.
Can we all just say that we just showed up right as it all went down?
Yeah, please.
She
we
was
haven't said
being
that.
held like tied to a stake, and they were continually mutilating her and feeding her potions to regenerate herself. We're not quite sure why yet.
Okay, well that sounds perfectly dreadful and makes my captors seem like rather nice people, actually. Let's keep going, shall we? And assuming no one continues the conversation, which you're free to, you do sort of continue on through the quartz chamber. You get out, you make your way through this tunnel, and actually let me see how far you walked at this point. You know what? You would probably just press all the way on. You get back to the chamber of glowing moss. Make your way through there, sidestepping the giant mounds of bat guano and rats and insects that are swarming mostly just along one side of the cave. You're still really not quite sure why they like that side so much. But eventually, you escape from the tunnel.
Ask him about that.
Ask him about what?
Never mind.
Can I investigate for flowers before we leave, since we can see better?
Go ahead and make a perception check as you're going through that.
Oh, can I also do that? With those
Nope.
flowers? You
Nope.
seem effective at
Uh,
debilitating people.
Damn it.
okay, so actually you're walking through the chamber and you see a few purple flowers. And you go immediately for it, and as you're reaching out for it, the swarm of purple beetles sort of skitters out of the way, and you get a small handful of bat guano. Yeah.
I pat Kane on the shoulder and say, "Good luck."
No. Can I dodge?
With the back one on hand?
Yeah, Fallon, make an attack roll.
With what? With which?
So it'll be an unarmed strike. Actually, it'll be dex because you're not trying to hit him hard. Just roll a d20 and add your dex.
Okay.
And your proficiency bonus, right?
Yeah, actually, you can add that too.
No.
So I think it's
I
like
can't see it.
Okay, well. Okay. So
Damn it.
You pat yourself in the face.
Best late. Shut up.
So you go to pat Kane on the back, and at that moment, Kane sort of ducks down. He's like, "Oh, are those some flowers there?" And you immediately go into that motion where it's like, you know, when you're about to give somebody a high five, and they like turn completely away from you, and you just sort of turn into like I'm scratching my face, that kind of thing. Well, you do that, except then you realize there's bat poop on your hands, and you just rubbed it on your face.
I'm used to this kind of thing. I grew up in the wilderness. Natural camouflage.
Okay.
As I notice that Fallon is having issues seeing what he's doing and picking up poop instead of flowers, I'll walk over to him and to try out the new ring, cast light on whatever, like his.
Well, you're not attuned to it yet.
I'm not attuned yet. Damn it! I thought you did
Nope.
that overnight.
Nope, because you just learned what it was this morning.
Oh, okay. You have to know what it is to attune to it.
I mean, or
Never
say
mind,
that you're
then.
attuning to it. Did you mean? I mean, you would have had to do that during the night, like attempt to
Okay,
attune to
never mind. I don't really know how it works, so we'll do
Oh.
it later.
You know what? Roll me intelligence.
Nope.
Nope. I was making it slightly higher just to
That's fine.
see if you remembered to attune to it. You totally didn't.
So Kane finds some purple flowers.
No, you don't find any.
Never mind. I don't help
You
Fallon out.
bend down and you realize that was actually purple beetles.
Are the beetles poisonous? Toxic?
Give me nature. As I slyly switch back to my cave soundtrack. Wait, what was this roll? I wasn't looking.
Who needs diligence?
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
You look at the beetles, and then you remember that beetles normally are not poisonous. But right next to them, you see, what do you see? You see a
Cave frog. Cave frog.
You see a red and yellow snake sort of slithering its way along, and you're like, ooh, that might be poisonous.
Can I go for it?
You remember that there is in your poisoner's kit some materials for, like, you know, tapping creatures for venom.
I'm gonna do it. I'm going for it.
Okay,
So-
make an attack roll on the snake to see if you can grab it.
With what?
Your hand. So just do one of your dexterity weapon attacks. That'll work. It'll be the same modifier. Yeah. All right.
Woo.
Damn, Kane. All right. So yeah, you grab the snake, snatch it right away, and you're like, hold on, guys, give me just a second. You whip out your poisoner's kit. You go to tap this thing. Go ahead and roll me. Oh, actually, let me think. In this case, this isn't really
Probably.
intelligence anymore. So give me a dexterity roll, but add your proficiency. So choose like a dex skill that you're like. Do acrobatic. No, not acrobatics, because you have. Yeah. So 1d20 plus what is it? 7.
Sleight of hand?
As you try to tap the snake for venom. Okay, well it'd be plus 7, so it's actually a 15. So yeah. So
Oh, numpad off. Or on, whatever.
You pull out a vial. You sink its fangs onto the top of a little bit of like cheesecloth that you have there, and you let the venom drip out. So you have a vial of snake venom.
Sweet, that's my good. Can I make poison whilst walking?
Well, this is pretty much just straight usable, so you could use it to coat like an arrow, or
Could start drinking.
or like dip a weapon in it, or you could try to get somebody to ingest it. I will say that your vial is good for, well, it depends on the exact usage. You could use a smaller amount of it to make a weapon deal a little bit more damage, or you could use a larger amount of it to try to like legit poison somebody. We can work out the rules at the point that you attempt to do it, or in between sessions.
Go full Romeo and Juliet and just drink it. And give us an epic speech.
All right.
Tell us how good it is.
So I feel like I've succeeded the most on like these intelligence tricks.
I mean, that was a pretty
I
good
don't-
series of rolls.
I don't think I've passed a check in like 4 sessions, so.
Poor guy.
Alright, so good start, good start. I got
Alright.
the snake. It's in.
So the rest of you sort of keep strolling along, and Kane sort of jogs and catches up with you after he's done with his snake. Har har. And eventually, you all get to the exit and start climbing up the last little bit until you reach the surface. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. I'm changing my music back to what it was before. And
There's music.
No one can hear it though.
no one can hear it? Why can you
I
not?
hear it. I hear
Really
it.
faint.
Okay, it is faint. I'm keeping it purposefully faint. Should I make it louder?
If I turn it up any louder, I'll be cringing when people talk.
Yeah, okay. So,
Oh no, I hear it now. That's the
I've,
music
I've heard
volume.
it.
this isn't... Actually, you know what? Let me get the right picture.
The music volume's all the way up.
This is not a cave.
No, it's not. Because
Are we?
you
Are we
exit back.
out?
You come out of the hole in the ground. Kane, roll a d12. Okay. So you come out
Did
and
someone activate the ruby?
okay, so this picture is actually a lie. You get out and it's dark outside. You guess that it's probably sometime shortly after midnight. And as you come out, you see a like bored-looking elf, sort of with his head draped over like a big log that he's sitting by. But when he sees you all sort of start to press your way out from underground, he sits up and he says, "Huh, you made it out. Welcome back."
Kane does some flips.
Give me acrobatics.
The welcoming committee seems to be
Yeah, you do. They're kind of impressive too.
not as big as I thought.
Did you think we would fail?
Wait a second. Not as big as you thought, huh? Okay. No snark in response. He didn't hear you.
Did you
Well-
think you wouldn't come back?
Well, we weren't really sure, to be honest. Must say thought it was more likely you'd come back than not, but we don't really know what's down there, right?
There's a lot of shit down there. But hey, we brought Liana back. We brought her back.
Oh wow, look at you guys. Did you find any of the others?
Oh yeah.
These other guys.
At this, the other three elves sort of start pressing their way out, and he's like, "Hey, this is awesome. Let
get
me
captured because
take
they're
you
bad at
back
fighting
to
and
the
left their friends."
camp. You understand, we are about an hour away from where we normally spend our time, so I'm sure the others will like to see you, as late as it is at the moment. Come on.
You the bird one.
Right.
What?
Are you the bird one?
Oh, he sort of thinks for a moment. You mean the one who was sent to tail you?
Yeah.
No, I'm not him. That one was taking bets against you guys coming back, though.
How's he doing?
Last I knew, just fine.
Is he a bird right now?
How would I know? Probably not.
We'll go hunt some birds.
He sort of thinks for a moment, and he looks at you and he's like, "Don't hurt him too bad, okay?"
Okay.
Okay. And he sort of nods a little bit. And with that, he'll sort of lead you all back to the camp. As he does it, you do see him sort of take stock of how Liriana is looking, and sort of his eyes get wide a little bit, but he doesn't say anything. And then eventually you get back, you see him sort of disappear into a little hidden area at the bottom of a big tree, and then comes back out. And a moment later, you see Medina the one who greeted you before, comes out and says, "Oh, welcome back. It is rather late right now, but is there anything I can do for you? Shall we set up some places for you to sleep? Would you like some food?"
You got some poison?
What?
Ale.
A lot of places to sleep and everything sounds good.
Yeah.
Ignore Kane,
I'm actually
please.
pretty famished. The food sounds good first.
Okay, we don't have, well, we might have, and she sort of asks a question to somebody and comes back and says, okay, we have exactly one tiny keg of ale. It would be enough for you, sir, I think. Not for everybody. We do have wine for the rest of you if anybody would like it, and food. And with this, you sort of start seeing elves sort of pop up seemingly from the landscape and sort of start milling about, preparing things. They gather together a little bit of food that's better than what you've been eating. They put together some obvious, like, you know, like clearing off some areas for you to sleep, that sort of thing. One of them starts building a fire.
So, during all of this, do I see the bird one?
Give me... Well, so you have to actually remember what he looks like. What is this gonna be?
Kane has memory like an elephant. He remembers everything.
Give me just straight wisdom to see if you actually remember after this amount of
Thank
time.
you for doing wisdom.
Well, it is like a practical intelligence thing rather than reasoning.
Is that enough to remember what he looks like?
And I know that your intelligence is shit and I'm throwing you a bone. Okay, not 100% sure, but you've locked the image of this dude in your brain pretty good. And you think he's actually the one building the fire.
I just like wave at him.
He looks up at you, sort of waves back. Welcome. Good to see you all.
Are you the bird one?
Excuse me?
Were you the bird one?
The bird won what?
Were you a bird before?
Been a bird many times.
Were you the bird that I almost shot?
He looks at you for a moment, says, no.
Hey, you want to turn into a bird for me?
I don't like the way you're looking at me.
Fair enough.
Is there anything
You
I
got
can
any
do
poison?
for you? What?
Do you have like stuff to make poison out of?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. What is wrong with you?
What is going on?
Kane
Many
is having
things.
a rather coy conversation with this
I think he's
elven
had a stroke. I think. So Fallon walks up and say, "I'm sorry, I believe my friend's had a stroke." I'll find him a seat by the
Oh,
fire.
well, that would explain a lot. And you see him sort of come over to... He sort of walks over to Kane, and he's like, if you'd like to take a seat, I'll see if there's anything I can do to help you.
With the poison, right?
Yes, with the poison.
Thank
Do you sit?
Huh? Yeah, I sit.
Okay.
Gives you
You sit, and he
bottom.
sort of reaches into his pack, takes out a bit of like a pestle, and grinds some herbs on it. Then you see him take a flint, sort of scrape onto it, and a bit of smoke sort of comes wafting off of it, and he holds it up to you and says, "Here, just breathe from this. It will relax you."
And can Fallon lean in and say, "Hey, please make it quick. I don't really want him to suffer."
No. Believe me, I'm right with you. Do you accept the offer?
But I'm totally fine. What are you talking about?
Well, your friend said you weren't feeling well. This will help.
I mean, I guess Fallon is the expert on whatever
And he sort of
this
holds
does.
it out to you. Just inhale.
Okay.
Okay. And as you inhale from the burning aromatic herbs, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
So does Fallon notice anything about this?
Give me a. What would this even be? Give me a medicine check. Okay, yeah, you actually recognize this. So it's not a totally uncommon herb. Um, it would be a little bit rare in these parts. You think that maybe it would be something gathered like at the foot of the mountains. For instance, you would know that it's just sort of a little clover-looking thing, nothing too much to look at. But seeing him burn it and have Kane inhale it, you know immediately what the effect would be. And as Kane takes a deep breath, you see a look of contentment and then a look of confusion, and he sort of looks up and then immediately conks out unconscious.
I stand up and walk away and I say, now that's pineapple. And
I didn't sign up for
Hooray!
unconsciousness. I just wanted some poison.
you got something.
And then
Maybe if I could get some of that in large quantity.
All right. So for the rest of you, so Medina at this point would again notice the shape that Liriana is in and say, "Oh my." I'll ask what happened later, but for now, she sort of calls a couple of the other druids over. If you don't mind, we'll take her and give her what care we can. Okay. And they sort of take Liriana away, make a bit of a bed, and you see a couple of druids sort of start tending to her. You do see them reach out and, make a bit of a salve out of, or take a bit of salve out and start applying it to some of the, like, now closed up wounds, but still rather rough looking. Okay. So with that, at this point, like, Medina would sort of start just asking everybody what happened. How do you want to role play it, or do you want to just sort of say how much you tell her?
We're roleplay masters, right, team?
Okay, all right,
Do it.
sorry. All right, so Medina says, so as you sort of all gather around the fire, so please, if you don't mind, I'm very curious to know what happened to you all down there.
It was very
Everyone in the
dark.
group just now eyes each other, looking to see.
Right.
First let me
Well,
ask
Kane's
you a
passed
question.
out, right?
Like,
I would love to explain this to her. But
honestly,
I'm
was it Medina we're talking to? We're addressing. Honestly, Medina, like first, I would like to ask just how many days have we been down there? Because I lost track pretty early on.
Oh,
It's only been 2 days.
I don't think it's been 2 weeks. Definitely more than one.
Okay.
Probably 10 days. It's something like that. I would have to go back through the videos to check.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was quite a busy 10 days of diving and meeting strange races that I'd never even heard of, let alone thought existed, and
Gnome
finding
salts.
out what is underneath this strange land we all live in.
Oh, really? So this isn't a small cave system that we found?
No. The cave underneath us is just as large as the land above it, I imagine.
I see.
Considering just on our last day out, we ran into these other three who were with Liriana before, and they were in a totally different part of the cave with another city and race of people who I've never heard of.
And at this point, Trindir pipes in. Yeah, captured by Drow, actually. Not even sure how Liriana escaped herself, but Unfortunately, it seems like she got a worse run of it than we did.
If Cameron's awake, you make a circuit comment about their inability to fight.
But you're not awake, so
I
you don't.
Well, the highlights of our trip were a city of Quotoa and
Fish
another
people. I clarify.
almost city.
Also,
Quaggoth.
Medina crit failed her roll to remember what a Kotoa was, so she looks at you and says, "Thank you."
Yeah, smart.
And
And
what else?
Quaggoths. City of
Fur-
Quag-
Furry creatures, mean as hell.
I see. All these names that I'm not
Can't hold their
familiar
salts though.
with.
That's now you're. I had to deal with not just their names but also their faces.
They can't hold their salts though.
Yeah.
Salts?
It's an
Lyriana
inside
stumbled
joke.
down
So okay.
the same path we did and ran into these Koatoa, who, well, they weren't the kindest of creatures. At least were civil.
Oh yeah, we met a god.
You met a god.
Well, we met a Koatoa god.
It was pretty cool.
They like making gods of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, they like making gods. Was it a real god or a fake god?
I guess
Felt real.
I can't tell you.
I'm not a very religious man, honestly.
Johan would say fake.
Yeah, I can imagine what Johan would say at this point.
Johan pipes up at this.
But
exactly
Johan
the
Bot
correct-
doesn't say anything. Johan Bot is listening passively.
Yeah.
He's
Certainly more powerful than us.
Yes, he was a strong and strange creature, an
I
aberration
see.
from somewhere else.
Tell him about how you left with this
Aberration,
creature.
so like...
Oh yes,
Yeah.
lots of tentacles.
Okay, I knew that one. Good.
Tell her about how
Look,
you
I'm
left
very
me,
familiar with the
guys.
surface of the world, but all these things that you're mentioning baffle me.
Well, I'm telling the story right now, and I didn't leave you, so I'm not gonna add that part in.
Thank you, Alistair.
But meeting with the Koatoa and meeting their gods, they help us find Lyriana. But we're speaking out of, I guess, both sides of their gills in this case.
You know,
And while they
help
gave
us find her in a roundabout way.
to where to find her, they then rushed off there themselves in a much quicker path and looked to, I'm not sure, capture her themselves. I'm not sure what their plans were for her. But on the way back, their group was intercepted by the Quaggoth, who also have a small, I don't know if you can call what they have society, but perhaps
So-
a village of some kind
Okay,
down
this
there.
all sounds really harsh.
Valid.
There's another person I'd like to bring into the conversation, actually, if you don't mind. She nods to one of the druids who goes off a little bit, and you can go now.
Fallon jumps in and says, "Well, actually, before that," and he looks at Alistair and he says, "Someone set a bunch of spider webs on fire."
Oh god. Oh
It was
god.
all Alistair's fault.
Yeah.
And at this
And,
point,
and,
you
and
see...
I say, "But okay."
Yeah, at this point, you see the druid that Medina sent off come back, accompanied by a young human woman. She looks like she may be about 30. And Medina says, "Okay, so you've all been telling me these things. This is... Well, maybe I should let her introduce herself." And the woman sort of nods and looks at you and says, "So my name is Ethnic Greensword. Pleasure to meet you all. I'm here to tell you a few things. First of all, Lord Parabol, who, if you don't remember, is the ruler of the territory that you're in, has learned some things about your little venture, and I don't think he was too pleased about you all coming. I think that sometime in the near future, probably not immediately tomorrow, but soon after, he might come looking for you, so to speak. But
Tell him we're in the cave.
Yes, indeed. I and my employer, who's Emil Stormtreader, the council representative from the human territory, believe that the events that have transpired with you all, which Medina just mentioned briefly, seem to be rather large, might be a matter for the entire land to decide, rather than just one ruler. So if you don't mind, I would like to listen to the rest of your tale, and also offer to take you to come talk to the council. Very
Well,
soon.
you're actually coming in at a very good point, because if you thought the fish monsters and their god were weird, there are stranger things afoot underneath this world.
So,
Fish
right.
monsters and
So-
gods, and she sort of looks at Medina. Medina like summarizes quickly what you guys have been saying. Oh my. Yes, indeed. Go ahead.
All right, so I said, where was I? That's right. Alistar set the spider webs on fire. We were ambushed by 20 Qui-Gon. But luckily
I think
I
it was
was
closer to 25. I'm going to add to his embellishment.
But luckily I was thinking on my feet, and I had a poison concoction to trap or to foil their ambush, and
You
we were able to
precious
handily
supply of
defeat
drugs.
them.
And she nods appreciatively and,
I-
says, "You really thought about the situation in advance, then."
But by handedly, he means we almost died, but he's not one for the dramatic, as I saw.
I look at them, and I look at them and say, I never felt more alive.
Yeah, Alistair laughs too.
Embellishments
Holiday.
aside,
Hold on to your life essence.
Can I look at Glenn and say, we still need to discuss that.
It's
traveling
the
around that cave was a nightmare.
the key takeaway is that Quaggoths are mean bastards, and you don't want to fight 4 of them, let alone 20 some odd.
Oh,
Also, fuck fish people.
don't forget those
Quaggoths.
stalactite monsters and
Oh wait, I do remember
the slug
those.
babies.
The roper and my meteorite slugs.
Wait, there are Quaggoths in Einanker?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there
I
are.
thought those were just a relic of history from the outside world. Huh.
I think there's a lot of relics of history.
Fallon looks at the marring on his armor and says, no, not really.
I think I've got a claw still stuck in me somewhere.
But so Liriana had fallen in with the Quaggoths.
Fallen in, she joined them?
Yeah, what?
Well,
Yeah, it seems the Quozoa party that were accompanying her, for lack of a better word, encountered some of the Quaggoth who forcefully took her.
That makes a
we're
little
not
bit more sense than what he said. Oh, I'm sorry. Than what he so wonderfully told.
I mean, I'm just a storyteller here right now.
No, I'm sorry. I'm playing with you, and I should say, give you a little bit of description. She's actually a rather pretty young woman, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. She has sort of a bob haircut.
That's why Fallon's like trying to tell this tale of awesomeness, and people are trying to mess it
Fallon's
up for
hyping
him.
himself up.
And she nods appreciatively and says, "I'm sorry for joking with you." She winks.
That's all right. I just think you're adding to the suspense before we get to the actually most impressive part of this trip. As I said before, gods and monsters are one thing, but there's definitely more underneath the earth than we ever thought there could be. So when we started tracking the Quaggoths that had taken her, this was after our ambush. We tracked her down to what appeared to be an old prison, and then from there a small village nearby, and that's when the worst of our fears were realized, and Liriana was basically tied to a stake, and the Quaggoths had taken to torturing her.
See, suddenly serious.
Yeah. So I'm gonna recount this one. I'll skip over a little role play just in because I think Alistair could do it better than me, but just the way they were torturing her, and I want it to be as horrific as I can be. I really want to
give me a performance check. We'll handle it
Absolutely.
that way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
She is.
Hello.
All right. So you relate the story.
Yeah.
Giving not so much detail as to be overwhelming, but enough detail and all of your emotions and how Hillel and Johann were
Can I block my ears?
Yeah,
you
and I'm
can.
trying to both cover up our inaction and lead to the big building climax. So.
And you actually even see her eyes like start to water a bit as she hears your tale.
I
And
need to hear this again.
finally, just
I
before
hand her a
Halale
handkerchief.
could take no more, as we were, skulking away from the roving bands of Quaggas looking to hunt us down, when we thought that, it was our opportunity to strike, all of a sudden a green dragon roared from out of nowhere. And this is the part that I said, you may not believe me, but stick with me here. The green dragon.
So just so you understand, I have a kid brother who thinks he's a storyteller, and when he doesn't know what to do, he just says, "And then a dragon showed up." That's what this sounds like.
I mean, I'm the one who survived the tale. So you can choose to believe me or not, but I feel like if you think this is a matter for all the lands, then you're correct. And this is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And then I found $5.
That's Well, I do believe you're being serious. Oh my! There's a green dragon in a cave.
A very large green dragon, and he took out the entire Quaggoth encampment that was, torturing Liriana,
And we were like,
took her off into, a few miles away to this mushroom forest where he dropped her safely off. Why, we cannot say, and
then
where he
what,
went afterward.
It disappeared
And
or something?
disappeared.
I mean, it disappeared from us.
is there any reason any of us would actually be suspicious that there's some connection between Liriana and this dragon?
I mean, Kane even mentioned, or out of game, Kyrian even mentioned that. So,
I mean,
sure,
other
if you're
than the
thinking that,
fact
your
that-
character can think that too.
I didn't.
Kane was
She
thinking
was
that.
there.
Is there
and then the
anything in
dragon
this world that
moved.
can turn into a dragon? Like, is that known?
Someone turning
Well,
into
Kane
a
just
dragon.
thinks this because, like, we were looking, he turns around and talks to you guys, dragon out of nowhere, and then it completely disappears.
And
But
I
it was also
okay.
right when they started cutting pieces off of her.
So Ethna sort of, you see her sit and think for a moment, and then she looks at you all and says, "Well, actually, I have heard certain tales of people serving as avatars of very powerful creatures. I suppose that if something like that was the case, then maybe pressed into a life or death situation, something like that could have happened. I mean, it's a
So
pretty
Fallon
out there
said-
explanation, but you already said giant green dragon in a cave, so why not?"
Fallon says, you might want to keep an eye on her.
See, well,
Don't piss her off.
I mean, I'm not going to be the one walking around claiming who would be the avatar of dragons, but it's needless to say, whatever the dragon came from, it was a stroke of luck for Liriana and for ourselves. Because we were
I saw-
surely cornered and
says-
outnumbered in that encampment.
Fallon says, you might not do that, but just wait till Kane wakes up.
and at this point, you actually do see Kane sort of start to stir a little bit. Not up yet.
Quick,
but
someone knock
stir.
him out.
Yes, somebody go get more of that. It's a magic herb.
Can
And you see the elf from before sort of shrug and go to get some more. Medina's like, hold off on that, actually.
No, stop it.
And that Medina and Ethna,
he sort of sheepishly nods and sits back down.
and
Let me wait
Ethna
for that.
ends the tale of the cursed ruby
The
and
cursed
the green
ruby.
dragon of the
Wait, you
cave.
didn't say anything about a cursed ruby. You have a cursed ruby?
Kane has a cursed ruby. I just have to
And with
figure
this,
out
Not cursed.
Kane, you wake up, and the first words that you hear as you come back into consciousness are the words of a young human woman saying, "Kane has a cursed ruby?"
It's not cursed.
and then I just say part of the curse is that it makes you believe that it is not cursed.
Our that guy, whose name I can't remember, said it wasn't cursed.
Kane, I'm telling a story right now, please.
Wait, she
What,
looks
into the
over at
story?
Kane and says, "I'm actually kind of curious. Can I see the cursed ruby? Do you have it?"
No.
Don't touch it, it's
And,
cursed.
and then she turns her head a little bit and says, "Huh, I suppose he doesn't actually have a ruby."
Oh, I got it. Fucking I do. It's not cursed though.
Okay, fine. I still want to see it. Ruby's a ruby.
Fine. I take out the ruby.
And as
I
you
see.
take it out, her eyes sort of widen. Like, well, that is something.
Then I put it back.
You flashed your ruby.
He's very protective of his cursed ruby.
Son of Ruby.
I see.
There's
I
strong
probably
this
would be
one.
protective
Kane.
as well.
Trust me, it is a cursed ruby.
I mean, that thing is worth more money than most people make in 2 years.
Exactly. You want to buy it?
Maybe. What are you asking?
Hold on. Let me think about it.
If you remember, I appraised it for you a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I wrote it down. I gotta find it down.
So anyway, to
400
finish off the
gold.
story,
It was worth more than that.
You told me 300, so I'm going higher than what I have written down.
And as you say that, actually Tyria pipes up. To finish off the story, there's a whole nother round of things from our end. But
Oh yeah, they got captured because they're bad at fighting and then left their friends.
wow, dick move.
he
Storytelling.
looks over at Kane, looks back. The short of it is that the tunnels run all the way from where we're at least the southeast of human territory. We found some rather interesting chambers with an even wider variety of creatures. And also, ready for the next bomb of the night, there's a demon army gathering under Einangrun. Yay! And
That explains a lot of the strange scripture we ran into on the way.
Just for the record,
Ethna
he
kind of
was
gets
pointing.
wide-eyed, and she says, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, they're gathering all the kobolds and all the goblins, and probably nastier things than that, but that's all we verified. I mean, I don't know what they're up to, but demons, right?" Ethna sort of nods and says, "I think we should all get a good night's sleep, and then perhaps if you would come with me to Sigil, I think that might be in order."
I'm feeling
Or
cool.
no, not Sigil, Siren. Sorry.
Oh,
For the record, Kane was pointing at the 3 elves that were captured, not at the NPCs that we like.
Oh, I missed that, but Tyria sort of steps in anyway, and then when you get done, you're sort of like, I was actually pointing at them, and the leader of them sort of shrugs and says, "Yeah, there are drow down there too. Dark elves. They captured us. 3 of us escaped. 3 of our friends are still down there, and we're very sad."
Which, speaking of, I didn't want to detract while we were attempting to finish our first mission, but does anyone in this whole band of people have plans on how to rescue those 3 or intentions to do so?
Everybody sort of looks at each other, and they all sort of settle on Trindir. And he sort of sighs and puts his head in his hand, says, "Look, it was a bizarre stroke of luck that I was able to get out. I imagine they'll only redouble now. We could go after them." And he just sort of sighs and doesn't say anything. And his companion sort of looks at him and says, "I think what he's not saying is that we could go, but the risk might not be worth it." And
Kane
sort of
leans
nods.
over to
I'm just kind
Johan.
of give them a stare at that. Like, I don't know if I have a response, but
Kane leans over to Johan and whispers, "No, Ohana."
no, Hana.
not a satisfying answer.
More
for
like no,
Alistair.
Hana.
And then you see the third one, the woman say, "Hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, I want to go. Don't you two want to go down?" And the leader of them is still just sort of staring. And you see, and the 2 of them sort of start talking in hushed tones back and forth to each other. Eventually, you see the woman sort of turn away with a bit of a scowl on her face, and the man just sort of shrugs and stares. They're obviously a little divided as to what they think the appropriate course of action is.
I mean, maybe this is an inappropriate time to bring this up, and we can maybe talk about this again in the morning. I just, We've gone down there once to rescue one elf, and now there are 3 trapped down there.
I'm sure they'll be fine. What's the worst gonna happen?
They could die,
They could be dead.
and
Yeah,
that may not even be the worst of it, honestly.
Yeah, the one of them, the leader again raises his head and says, "Look,
Everyone's
we have to
dead
make
here.
decisions, right? I don't even know if the 3 of them are still alive, and from what these ones are telling us, we've got problems that are going to affect this entire surface land. I think we need to make those preparations before we worry about 3."
Sure, but then perhaps someone can explain to me. Liriana seems like a lovely woman, but why we were sent to rescue her and not the 7 of you if you were all missing?
And
Aha!
Tyria sort of looks at you all and says, "Wait, where'd you get the idea that you were specifically sent down to find Liriana?"
Maybe if I'm totally
And
misunderstanding.
anyone who wants to can make an intelligence roll.
Kane's actually laughing.
I'm think back.
Intelligence?
Yep, intelligence.
Like a saving throw or just regular?
Just straight
Damn it!
intelligence
I'm
check.
as dumb as Kane.
Damn it.
Okay.
Me too.
So you all try
Get on my
to
level.
rack your brains to try to remember what the conversation that you all had way back when.
Oh, that was Gamor.
Well, Gork wasn't there, because this is going all the way
Gork is
back
an
to when you
animal.
were at the church, and
He was-
Tyria was
Gork's
originally sending you on this mission. And finally, after thinking about it for like
Hey.
30 seconds,
Make
Colleen
Johan
sort
roll.
of sits up, remembering that she just wanted you to explore down there. That was all that was initially told to you before you agreed to go. And then they just
Yeah.
sort of threw in,
Oh,
almost
yeah,
as an afterthought, that Halael's friend was down there and they might want to try to find her
Dude.
too.
There were dark things down there that we never. I don't know if we dealt with that.
Can we all turn and stare at Halael?
Shit.
Sure.
His friend.
I just came along just for that.
Kane's still laughing.
Anything else?
Well, right now, Colleen's the only one who's realized this. I don't think she said anything.
Was I promised
Did you?
anything?
Alistair got swept so far. I'm just saying
Uh,
they're on a train. He doesn't even remember.
Guys, did we deal with the dark things down there?
Well, at
Yeah,
some
with
point
a
somebody
lot of
said
shit.
she had a stone and they gave us stones and go find her, right?
Yeah.
Who
Oh,
did that?
And
It
Medina
was these
was
guys
like,
up here.
yes, I did say that. Fact of the matter is, she sort of gestures to Tyria and gestures to Liriana. We're all friends. And the other 3 elves.
You're not
were like-
friends with these
were
other
like-
ones?
That's where the bias came from.
They see the stones on your neck and they're like, yeah, we had those too. They would have taken you to us as surely as to Liriana, although the drow took them.
I feel like if we had ended up finding them instead of Liriana, we would have been like disappointed.
Probably still would have seen a green
This
dragon.
is where Alistair hands his wine glass over and says, maybe I should. I apologize for my outburst. I'm just very tired at this point and surely need no more wine tonight.
I'm actually feeling very refreshed, guys.
And then Medina actually says, well, but as a matter of fact, it is kind of late. I believe
I
it is
will
time
also
to
pull
be
the scroll of
resting."
tracing out and give it to whoever handed it to me originally to trace. I think that was
That would
Medina.
be Tyria.
Tyria? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give it to Tyria and say, here's your map.
Oh, thank you. Great. And you actually hear her, give me perception. Yeah, you actually hear her mutter, I should add my own part to this, thinking she's going to like draw on top of it with where she thinks they want.
Can Kane just say, look at Alistair and say, you had a map the whole time?
You've been
Yeah,
using
that's
his
why we
map.
never got lost, Kane. I pulled it out several times, I'm sure.
I actually carried it for most of the journey.
Oh no, that was a different map. You found a map of the city.
Yeah, we have a
you
map
found,
of the city.
Yeah, you found a
The
map of
trace
Indros,
map.
but
Yeah.
Alistair actually had like a scroll that was drawing a map of everywhere you guys went.
Yeah, what you gave to me.
Oh, he did?
He wasn't
Okay, I didn't
in
realize that.
session.
There was the I don't know
Oh.
what Alistair bot did with it, so
Gotcha.
it's still on my character sheet, but whatever. We can fix that.
It doesn't matter. Tyria
Yeah.
has it now. Well, no, unless Colleen wouldn't give it to her.
Colleen and I just kept trading it back and forth. It's fine.
No one would accept my draw.
Okay, so with that, Medina will say, well, should we all get some rest then?
I feel fine.
And I'm
Yeah,
stand up
whatever.
and just turn around and head towards where I think I'm supposed to sleep, even if no one told me.
Yeah, so actually, it turns out they prepared a number of sleeping areas for you that are all more or less interchangeable. So you just
Excellent.
sort of grab a spot, roll out your bedroll.
This is when everyone realizes that Alistair's been drunk through the entire story time.
Can I go?
He was so good at it.
Can I go find the herb guy?
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to go barter with him, trade him some gnome salts.
Okay, so as you all start to split up, both Kane and Fallon follow the herb guy. And after a moment, he sort of looks back at you and says, "Can I help you two with something?"
Give me some of those herbs.
You enjoyed it, did you?
Jesus Christ.
No, but I think they'd be useful for poisons.
Okay, you understand that these things aren't all that common, right?
Kane just stares at him.
You know what? You've just been on a long trip, so here. He takes a small pouch. It's not all that large. It's looking at it and remembering what he used on you, you think it's maybe like 2 doses, but he gives you a little pouch of herbs.
So what if this was like put into someone's bloodstream? Would that have the same effect?
I mean, inhalation is just one method, I suppose. It's the active ingredient that matters. You might want to crush it first.
So I'm saying if I like stab someone with it.
With a bag of
Okay,
herbs.
look. You're kind of creeping me out. You come to me asking if I can give you poison. Now you want the herbs that I drugged you with so that you'd shut up. And now you're talking about coating weapons with them and stabbing people. Why are you asking me these questions?
I mean, that was the original intent for the poison. So I don't see what it's so hard to understand.
Well, why do you want a poison in the first place?
To help kill people faster.
He sort of gets serious for a moment. And why do you want to kill people?
He just kind of keeps coming up.
What?
I think you should
Just
go get
keeps
some
coming
rest.
up?
And I'm feeling pretty good. That's a good nap.
He sort of turns to Fallon. Is there something I can help you with?
So I put my arm around him and walk him a little bit away from where Kane, I assume, is still standing. Say, hey, gotta need to talk to you for a second.
Yeah.
And I said, I see you have some herbs. I have some salts. Maybe not the same effect, but similar.
Okay.
Would you be willing to trade?
Can I see what you're talking about? You've seen my merchandise. I want to see yours.
Sure. So I take out a. I mean, is he gonna try it? Is that what's happening here?
You don't know.
He just
Okay.
wants to see yours, man.
If you want to like insight check him to see what he's up to, you can try to do that.
No. I mean, I'd encourage this. So I take out a pouch and I let's say I sprinkle some into his hand
Okay.
and say you have to burn it and inhale it.
I see. You see him pull out another one of his little plates. He very carefully takes just. You see him sort of pick out a tiny, teeny crystal, just one little bit. You see him light it up. It makes just the faintest little column of smoke. And he sort of brings it up and sort of waves it in front of his nose. He waits for a moment. You don't really see anything. And then he takes a bit of a breath of it. And then you see him sort of recoil and blink a few times. Look around. Well, Now that's interesting. Yes, as a
Every
matter of fact,
time.
I would like to trade with you.
Okay, so if
What is this made from? Or is it just
Gnomes.
found like this?
it's a concoction I make.
Okay,
Tr- Trade secret.
fair enough. So, what? So many doses of mine for so many doses of yours?
That sounds like fair trade.
Okay, you see him pull out a slightly larger pouch than what he gave Kane. If what he gave Kane was 2 doses, this looks like it might be like 10, probably.
Okay.
I
So
can give you this much, he says.
okay, I have 0.2 gnome salts,
Right.
but I didn't have a whole bunch before. So is that? I mean, I should have way more than
Well,
10,
yeah. So
right?
yeah, you've used it a few times.
Yeah, I
So
don't.
0.1 is around 20 doses. So it'd be half. It'd be 0.05 pounds would be what you'd have to give him.
Okay, done deal.
All right. And he looks at the amount that you give him and sort of remembers the effect that that one little bit had on him and sort of nods. And sort of, puts it in a little pouch and you see him sort of flip it up and down his hand. Interesting.
And so I say, good trade. I put my hand on his shoulder and I say, it's a good idea to come up with a safe word with a trusted friend. And then I pat him on the shoulder and walk back to camp.
Go ahead and give me insight as you do that.
So sorry.
Okay. All right. Yep. You hand that off, and you see him sort of glance off towards the rest of the camp as you go off, and sort of nod and head off to sleep himself.
If as he's walking away, Kane pats him on the back and says, "Thanks, herb guy," and walks away.
And
Well, I
he
had to
looks at
walk away
you
from
and says, "Seriously, thank you," and heads back. If you want to insight check him, you can, but
Hey,
okay. I mean, like, you think that that was actually just a genuine thank you for risking your life underground rather than a, like, coy remark or sarcastic remark.
Kane nods, feels kind of like, and then goes back to the group.
And I will say that was another one of those hidden rolls, so don't read anything into the 9. I was setting the base for that on my own.
So then I go to rejoin the group and say, "Hey,
Alright.
do you guys? Is there any more of that wine? I saw wine."
You see a leftover half bottle of it lying by the fire
I
that
take
someone
the
forgot to
bottle.
put away.
Clean throws herself on top of it, so it's not for you.
Kane reaches, grabs for the bottle less clean as his.
His.
Okay. You've got half a bottle of wine. You've got half a bottle of low to medium grade wine. Medium.
Woo! Kane starts
Just
drinking.
normal wine. You start drinking it?
Yes.
You're just gonna drink the whole half a bottle of wine?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So most of you go to sleep.
Can
Well,
Drunk
hold on,
Alistair, hold on.
Oh,
Can Drunk
sorry.
Alistair remember to attune to his ring before he passes out?
Yes, you may absolutely do that. You're
All
now
right.
attuned.
Huzzah.
Also, Kane may or may not have actually never had wine before, or like a type of alcohol. He's just drinking the wine because everyone else.
I want to go check on how Mariana's getting along.
Okay. You walk over to her and you see that she's been, pretty heavily bandaged. Still entirely non-responsive. But her breathing is regular. There's a faint concern about how long this unconsciousness is lasting. But other than that, and the fact that she is horrendously scarred, she seems like she'll be healthy.
Alright, I just want to play a quiet song on my flute.
Okay.
Relaxing.
Yeah, give me a performance check.
Is that
Isn't she unconscious? Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
it's never too early to start wooing.
so you play your song by her as she sleeps, just quietly. You share sort of a calm moment together. You do actually see her as you finish and are about to pack up and head back. You see her stir just a little bit in her sleep, and just sort of like a sleeper finding a more comfortable position. And then she stops and she's still again.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? All right. So you all sleep through the night. In the morning, you wake up, and the druids have breakfast for you. It is rather basic in the fashion of what people who live out in the woods all the time would sort of have. But again, it's better than the trail rations that you've been eating, and certainly more satisfying than eating a tiny piece of bread and calling that your food for the day, no matter how nourishing it is. So it'd be like berries and bread and maybe some honey, that sort of thing. Just water. So you wake up, and as you're sort of standing around eating, Ethna comes out to talk to you and says, "So I mentioned this last night, but the offer that I discussed then stands. I think that you're likely to, I don't know about forcibly, but at least be asked sternly to go to Pertinus to meet with Lord Paraval. I would like to take you away before that. I would like to take you to Siren to meet with my employer and with the council. What do you say?"
you still want to buy the ruby?
Is
Kind of.
Tindos on the way there?
Tindas would be in the other. Well, we'd be headed mostly west. Tindas is mostly south.
Oh,
How does 600 gold sound?
send a messenger.
600 gold for that. Can I give it to you once we get to Siren?
Sure.
Maybe.
I feel like one of us is
Don't
gonna have to
look
buy
too
it from
evil.
him.
Let's go to Siren, boys. Also, Kane starts making his poisons. Well, everyone discuss this thing.
Kane, give me a nature check. Well, because you got. Oh, wait. Do you want to start Wait. Let me back up. When you talk about making poisons, you already have poison. Do you want to
I mean, using turn the herbs and the.
that you want to try to turn these herbs into a poison? So the herbs will make a knockout drug, which I suppose you could turn into something that you can coat into a weapon or something like that.
Something coatable.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a check with your poisoner's kit. Okay. It takes you a while to figure out the trick of it. And you waste some of the material as you're doing it, but you do get a little vial of something that you think will be good to coat on a weapon. You have a 2-use sleeping drug. Just mark that down.
All right, I'm satisfied. I now have multiple poisons.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So
I don't
and
appreciate
we're
this,
left
guys.
with Oh, and then Ethna sort of shakes her head a bit and says, "Oh, I just remembered something. Tyria. Tyria, yes? Here, I was supposed to give this to you. I'm sorry, I almost forgot." And Tyria says, "No, it's fine." She takes a sealed envelope from Ethna and opens it and reads it. And you sort of see her eyes get a little bit wider, and she nods and looks up and sort of pockets it and looks up at Ethna and says, "Well, to be honest, I was thinking that I was going to have to go talk to my father, but based on this, sounds like we're coming with you as well." And Ethna sort of smiles and says, "Excellent. And the rest of you, please?" Sorry. She apologizes. I might be being too forceful, but we would really like you to come.
I'll need to check the map. Where's the map?
Here you go. So she is asking you. So you are currently right about here. And she wants you to come with her to Siren, which is down here. It's on the other side of the lake.
Oh, hey, that's
Oh.
closer to home.
Closer to home.
But home.
Oh.
Are we gonna be able to cross the neutral territory this time, or are we gonna have to go around it again?
She looks at you and says, "Okay, so perhaps I should explain. My employer is Emil Stormtreader. He is on the council. So you're all with me. There are no tolls. And as a matter of fact, if you'll come with me a short way, I'll show you my ride. I think it might be a bit easier than what you've been doing."
Poor Fallon. Doesn't have home. Anything is better than traipsing around the underground, I'm gonna be honest, so I'm okay with accompanying you to Siren.
I just kind of speak to everybody. I mean, all the other NPCs are still around, right?
Yep.
I just kind of say, are we ever going to get paid for all of this?
And Tyria sort of
That's her face palms.
sort of looks at you and says, "Well, actually, we just kind of coerced you into doing it. Although, if you do remember, I did buy that nice breastplate for you. Well, at least I helped a lot with it. That being said, I think before you
so hold on. When she says that, and I pull out my hand and I say, "Fish people, Qui-Gon, dragons, false gods."
And
Kane nods in agreement.
she sort of pauses.
Add King to the list.
and Kane. I put it as my thumb and I wiggle my thumb. Where's my camera? And I wiggle my thumb.
Kane frowns at this.
Okay, so maybe I asked a little bit more from you than I realized at the time. Sorry.
So
The council has a lot of money. Ethna, and she looks at Ethna, and Ethna's like, "It's true, they do have a lot of money."
And I look at them and it's like, "And can you help us get some?"
And Ethna perks up and says, "Yeah, if you come with me to Siren."
I mean, Fallon, you would also be entitled to 120 gold on the ruby we found, so.
What? What? What?
I mean, when we sell the ruby, we're going to all get our fair share.
What is this we found business?
We don't need to discuss incidental bonuses.
What is it that you always call us?
Contracted employers.
Johan?
Sure. I'll go back to save you guys in battle.
Ohana?
We found.
And with this, too, Tyria is going to sort of look at you, Fallon, and say, "Huh, that's a rather nice quiver you have there, isn't it?" and she sort of winks and no hard feelings. I'm sorry.
Kane, the cost of being on a crew is you split the booty, as they say.
And I look back at her and I count my fingers.
Get some.
It's like, yes.
So, if we go
I expect
to
you to do the right thing, Kane.
Siren,
Especially since you openly discussed the price in front of us.
Ohana.
what's gonna happen to the Rihanna?
You guys can get 50 gold.
And Ethna sort of thinks for a moment. She's like, well, I suppose it would depend somewhat on what these others think. And she sort of gestures towards the other elves in the party, that being Tyria, Medina, the other 3 elves who came up. She says, but as far as I'm concerned, there are a few options. We could let her remain here, head back to Pertinas, perhaps. Or, honestly, it sounds like she might have part of the tale that the rest of you are lacking. I would be very happy to take her along with us. Certainly, she's not going to get better care than we could give her in Siren. And she sort of looks questioningly at Tyria and Medina. And Tyria sort of shrugs and says, to be honest, I would be happy to have her with me.
I'm happy to go if she's coming along with us.
Ethna says, we can certainly do that.
I just say, all right, let's go. Looks like we get paid in Siren.
Great. Well, if that's the case, then once you gather up your things, simply follow me. And you see Ethna sort of put a couple things in a pack, sling it onto her back, and sort of move a few steps towards one side of the camp, lean up against the tree, and just wait for you all to do whatever you need to do before you leave.
I'm gonna go up to Ethna and a hushed voice, be like, okay, so I forgot about giving the party some money, so I'm gonna have to renegotiate that price, but we can do that later.
That's fine. We'll talk about it later. Okay. Anything anyone wants to do before you all head off?
I would like to send a message to Tindos.
Okay. Do you want to,
Maybe
like, try
willing.
to have somebody deliver a letter for you or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you, like...
someone available to do that?
So... Yeah, so you sort of start asking if there's
Please
any
be the
way
bird druid who will fly it there.
to get a letter back. Does
Bird
Alistair
druid.
say that, or is Jato saying that?
That's Jado.
Alright.
Still didn't find that bird guy.
And they sort of talk to each other and say, well, we do contact with Pertinas a lot. We could get it back to there and then get it onto a train headed down to Tindos. I'm not quite sure when it'd get there, but we could probably figure something out. And Medina does say, you understand, it is a bit remote here. I suppose unless I have somebody actually make the trip themselves, although it's about from here to there.
It's
Could you
fine.
mail it?
Depending on the form, still at least a week.
It's okay. I'll just wait. It's fine.
Okay. Are you sure? You seem a bit concerned.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
We're good.
I need to do my exercises. Like my shirtless run for all my movement exercises.
Okay.
Oh, Kane's leaning up next to the Ethna, like where she is, waiting for the rest of the party.
Okay.
I want to eat breakfast and watch Halil mockingly almost. Like just very confused what he's doing. Like if you saw people doing that in the park while you were sitting down trying to have your breakfast.
Okay. Actually, let me think about this. Both of you, both Alistair and Halil, give me performance checks.
Oh, I want to be a part of this.
You can come too. You can have breakfast with me.
Oh god.
Okay, yeah. So, so Halil, you go through your whole monk routine. After a while, you see Ethna sort of sigh and drop her pack back down by the tree, but you don't care. You're into it. Alistair, you stand there with just a giant smirk plastered across your face. And Halil don't care. Halil's just doing his thing, but you're like, huh, this guy thinks he's some kind of shit, right? And Colleen, you're just standing next to Alistair, and you're like trying to be as cool as Alistair is, but you just look like
Oh no, I'm not at all. I'm just excited.
Can I walk over to?
Okay, all right, all right.
As Fallon, I want to walk over to Ethna and say, "Is this an elf thing?"
She's like, so I'm not an elf? But I don't think so. I think it's a really cool monk thing.
So I look at her and it's like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask. The elves don't like it when you ask if something's an elf thing.
Fair enough. All right. So yeah. So that all being done, finally you all do gather up your things and head off with Medina. She takes you a little bit southwest, and as you get to a point where the trees are sort of starting to thin out a little bit, you see. Let me think. How many would it be actually? Yeah, you see two large carriages. Think like covered wagon size. So like two of them would hold your entire group. Although you don't see any animals around. And Ethna sort of gestures to you all and says, "Everybody in. This is our ride." And she
What?
says, "Perhaps I should explain. It's a horseless carriage. Well, not that there are any horses. Oxless carriage, then.
But carriages need oxen.
These ones don't.
So what pulls it?
Magic."
I, for one, am
I
excited
make
to
some
see-
glittery fingers that Kane
Let's go.
does that.
Into the carriage.
Kane
Let's
just
go.
kind of furs his, like this. He's making this face.
So
Okay.
Fallon encourages Kane to hop in first.
All right, so I'm actually, just for the sake of this, I am going to say who's in each one. So you see Tyria carry Liriana into one of them,
Kane
and
hops first.
you see Hanel and Corin go into the other one, and Ethna is sort of in the driver's seat, so to speak, of the one that Tyria and Liriana are in. Where's everyone going?
Anya.
Oh yeah, Anya, Hanel, and Corin are all in that one. Ethna,
Oh,
Tyria,
no,
and
I'm
Liriana.
Yeah, I'm hopping in. I'm hopping
Can
in
I
the
go?
forward.
Can I go to the one with Ethna?
Yep.
Anya's
Now,
my
can I
buddy.
ask her? So it's magic oxes?
Well, hold on. I got to figure out where everybody is.
I'm gonna join the carriage with corn. Of
Okay.
course.
So
This is my boy.
I imagine
Is
Valer's
there-
probably going where Liriana's at.
Yeah, but then I have to hear Kane.
is there a passenger seat like next to her driver's seat, or is it a bench? Is this like
Yeah,
old
two can
wagons?
sit there. Two can sit there.
All right, I'm gonna hop in there before Kane can.
Okay. That'll
Can I
make
hop in
that'll make it
first?
a little bit uneven, but it's still fun. Actually,
You encourage me hopping
Johan
in
will
first.
go in this one. Okay.
Hey, some of us are light. We're fine.
All right. So yeah, and so as soon as you're all loaded on, you hear Ethna speak a few what sound like nonsense words, but then she says, "Siren," and the carriages go lurching off.
Neat
So
trick.
is it magic oxen then?
She looks at you. Yes.
Like, is the magic that they're invisible?
Sure.
And I turned to her and I say, I see you've already figured out how to talk to Kane.
She just sort of cocks her head a little bit, not exactly nodding, but
Kane nods.
okay.
Wait, so did Fallon take the front seat? Because I thought I got there first.
I imagine that. Well, okay. Wait a minute. Both of you give me dexterity checks. This will be a
Initiative.
contest.
It's probably the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Kane. So the way I imagine this is, Fallon, you see what Kane's about to do, and you sort of start to go for it, but then you see him slip in before you. So you hold up.
Yeah.
So basically, the situation is Ethna and Kane are sitting in the front,
Gotcha.
and Fallon's just sort of leaning in from the back. right. So you're all trundling down the road. As you go, Corin does sort of mention, oh, now might be a good time for Hanel to look at that book.
Wait, isn't Stalker in the other carriage, or is Liriana with us?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. He's not there. Never mind. You have to say that.
Fuck you.
All right. So
I'll tell Colleen about the book
Ooh.
if Corn and I are talking
Oh.
about it.
You spreading my secrets?
Okay,
okay, yeah.
I forgot to tell you when we got out of the cave, Colleen, but Corn and I were talking with Halil and we discovered a book full of strange arcane runes.
Ooh.
Well,
runes?
not only arcane runes, but it was a book that was. Remember that old journal he had that was completely empty? And now it's filled
So
with
she
some-
goes, no.
Oh well, he had a book that was entirely blank pages that's now filled up with magical script of some kind. But we couldn't read. We need a comprehend languages spell to read it, and I remembered that you had actually copied that one down.
Did I though?
I gave you the scroll of it at some point to
Oh
write in your
yeah,
book.
so I do.
So we should remember, since we forgot last night, maybe to take a look at it when we all reach Siren, since he's in that other cart up there. But I figured you'd be interested in a thing like that. Books with disappearing words and strange languages.
Sounds exciting. I really want to see it.
All right.
Pity
Okay,
it's
can-
not
can
in the
I-
crystal.
can I whisper to Ethna? I said, so about the price for the ruby. Quiet
And-
enough so that no one's here.
And as you start talking to her about the cost of the ruby, you see the camera sort of pan out as Ethna sort of slumps just a little bit, and a big smile breaks out across Fallon's face. And we see cinematography of carriages sort of trundling across a grassy plain. And I realized that I wanted to change my map. So, and you're all just sort of going along. You travel one day. It's another pretty decent trek to get even to the edge of the lake, so you don't make it all in one day, even with the rather quickly moving carriages. So you all do make camp for a night at one point. Anyone want to do anything in the night? You'll have time, I promise.
Can I negotiate the price of the ruby?
You negotiate the price with her some more. Make a persuasion check. That's how I'll handle this.
Okay. Kane's gonna whisper, or I'll do the check first.
Okay. She nods appreciating and says, yes, I'm very interested in it. I don't carry that kind of money with me on the road, though.
Yeah, I just wanna get a price set before we get there.
We'll talk about it when we get there, believe me. Okay, anyone else?
I tell Kane, you know, you're gonna have to discount it for the curse.
Not cursed.
And the camera zooms out on more bickering about ruby prices. Everybody sleeps. And you all wake up the next day. And as you're all waking up, Halil, you totally weren't staring. You totally weren't like keeping your eye on her all the time. But as the sun sort of peaks over the horizon, you notice Liriana stir and her eyes open. And you see her just sort of staring into the sky. And then a small voice escapes her mouth. Where am I?
Mariana, are you okay?
Everyone else turns to look at Halil, see what has happened to his voice.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh.
Were
Khalil,
you
are
running
you
over to
okay?
embrace her? Is that what was going on? I'm trying to make sure.
No.
No.
Well,
Shouting?
how are we in this carriage?
Oh, you're not in the carriage right now. You're camping
Okay,
for
yeah.
the night.
I just want to sort of like kneel down next to her. Close-ish, but not.
Yeah.
Can
And-
Kane walks up too to see what
Touch your arm to sort of direct her to.
And you see her head sort of loll to the side, and her eyebrows sort of scrunch, and she looks at you, like almost like she's trying to make you come into focus. And then you hear her say, "Hello? Is that you? Where am
Of
I?"
course it's me. Well,
It's your mom.
that's a long story. For now, you're well safe. Safe is the word I use.
Oh, good.
Kane's right there too.
Where have I been? I don't understand anything. Sierra sort of lean her head back again.
Just rest now. Rest.
I've been resting. I'd like to get up now, actually. And you see her sort of struggle to like sit up a bit, and finally she does actually manage to just bring herself to a sitting position and look around and says, "I thought I was in a cave."
You were for a while, but now we're back. Great outdoors.
I see that.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like Harlan Wood.
No, we're on our way to Siren.
Siren? Why are we going to Siren?
Well,
Are you gonna tell me what's going on? I'm confused.
yeah, you remember those caves you were in?
Yes.
There's a lot to those caves.
Okay.
Long story short is we're going to Siren to explain to what's this council we're going to see?
Yeah, it's
Something.
just like the
Yeah.
governing council of the. It's just called the council.
The council to explain everything we saw and found out down there.
I see.
It's rather concerning to all of Einangrun.
Well, it's good to see you. And you see her sort of bring down her arms to like brace herself as she's sitting up, and then you see her frown as her right hand comes down, and then you see her look down, and she gives a bit of a scream. At this point, I won't try to imitate it.
Thank you.
What happened to my hand? What? And then she sort of starts noticing the scars all over her body. Her hands sort of quest over, and she notices where her ear's been cut off. She's like, "What in bloody hell happened to me?"
You fell.
You hadn't. There was some quackos, and it wasn't pleasant.
You'll
Kane's kind of puts a hand on Khalil's shoulder at this part as he explains.
And you see her breathe deeply and sigh and sort of bend over her wounded hand and say, "Well, guess I'm safe now. Maybe I do need to lie down again though." And she sort of just lets herself fall back down onto her back. This is a lot all at once.
Does she notice she's missing an ear?
Yeah, she
Yes, she
noticed
did.
that. No, she has yet to examine the full extent of her injuries, but she's pretty much noticed at this point.
All the missing bits.
All right. Are you gonna do anything else, or just sort of help her back to the carriage when you're all about ready to leave?
Just help.
Kane helps too.
By the way, Colleen, so I did notice your message. Give me your choice of persuasion or performance.
Ooh. Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna. What are you doing exactly?
I just figured we were sitting there in the carriage.
Oh, okay. So yeah, as you're sort of eating your breakfast, you sort of lean up a little bit against Anya, who sort of straightens for a moment, looks down, notices you, and then you see her sort of smile and like relax into you a little bit.
Excellent.
And you just have, occasional
yes.
chatter, pleasant chatter as you eat. All right. So you all sort of finish your breakfast, all load in your carriages again, and you only travel.
Uh,
Oh,
when we put Liriana back in the carriage,
yeah.
can Kane just kind of to Hillel, I'm sorry about what the cave and us like just kind of building and running around for so long.
Yeah. Just gonna shrug and yeah. Couldn't
That
do
was it.
anything.
He goes back to his carriage after his attempted apology.
All right. So yeah. So you do all travel about half the day. Finally, you get down to a point on the east side of the lake where there's actually a ferry that goes across the lake. The carriages load onto that, and you're now headed across the lake towards Siren. So, again, I will just admit, unless unless you guys do something unforeseen, I'm not planning for you to get attacked on this particular barge or anything.
Jump out the
Kane's
carriage.
gonna jump into the lake, searching
Okay.
for sea monsters.
A kraken rises up and eats you. You're dead.
Yes.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
He said it on stream. It's canon.
No, wait, do it. The actual joke. It was a joke. It's just a prank, bro.
Rest in peace, Kane. We knew you too well.
Yeah. Someone else doing secret things now.
So we're on a ferry?
Fairy ferry, yeah.
Okay, but so Kane's gonna just kind of like hover around Hillel's like general area to see like how he's doing.
I throw Kane out the carriage.
Okay. So you all make a pleasant journey across the lake. And it takes a while. It's a pretty wide lake. As a matter of fact, let me see how long it takes. It'll be faster if you're on a boat, but it would probably. Wait, let me see here. I actually
10 foot.
Yeah.
10 foot
Actually, I
wide.
have to use. I never set up this map, so I have to actually measure it like with a ruler. So yeah. So you would like about the amount of time that it took you to get to the lake. It'll take you about that again to get across it. So you would actually spend a night on this on the ferry and wake up the next day. Maybe watch the sun come out across the lake. And then finally, as it's getting to sort of late afternoon, you see the city of Siren appear on the horizon.
Wow. Whole city.
Oof.
I had to scroll up. I was like, "This is just a
I
lake."
told you guys we should have gone through the neutral territory before. This is way cooler.
Yeah, but it costs money, man.
The ferry goes into a dock, and you're immediately greeted by some people at the dock. Ethna exchanges words with a few people and looks back at you all and says, "Once again, thank you all for making the trip with me. If you'll come with me, I'll show you to where you'll be quartered." So, are you following her?
Yes, as long as she
Yes.
means where we're staying and not where we're going.
Yeah. So, yeah. You're shown to. You sort of walk through the city. Siren actually isn't all that big. It's mostly just meant as a place in the neutral territory for the council to live, and whatever sort of aides they might have, some government officials, and then there is a smattering of taverns and stores and the usual things that just people would need. But it's not an overly large city. There's not like a university or a major business center or anything like that here. It's really just all about it being where the council is. And also do remember, Anangrid has a pretty loose central government as well. Most of the things get left to most of the actual governing gets left to the individual territories. So all that being said, it's a small to medium-sized city, although it does have some rather impressive-looking buildings in it, including the one that you guys are immediately directed to. So, I stole this image. I don't know if it's perfect, but I'm going to roll with it. So you'd basically be taken to this building right here. You get shown inside. You go up a flight of stairs and down a hallway to a space where there are a bunch of individual rooms. Think, almost as if it was a hotel. You get shown into rooms that are really quite nice. There is a very comfortable looking bed. There is actually running water in a bath. They've actually constructed a plumbing system for this building. This is like the closest thing that you will find to except for maybe noble houses in Tindas. This and maybe a few places in one of the gnome cities. This is probably the most advanced sort of comfortable living type of location that you'll find in Einangrun. So yeah, but it's not too long after you're all settled in before some messengers a messenger comes by and tells you all that you've been summoned to meet with actually Emerald Stormtreader, who's the person who sent Ethna in the first place. So does everybody go?
Is Ethna still with us?
Well, she walked with you until you got to your rooms, and then she sort of took off. She said that she needed to go talk to Mr. Stormtreader.
I look at Fallon and ask, "What do you think we'll get paid?"
We're about to find out.
I have bathed and made myself presentable.
Yeah.
That I can attend.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
You would have all had some time. They would give you, an hour or two to yourselves before asking for you.
So, some me time.
But Kane still just wears his. He takes a bath and stuff, but he still wears his leather armor and his cloak. But he has the hood down.
That's legit.
I wear my armor. Oh, wait.
You wear your shirt.
Well,
I
keep
carry
your
a
shirt
little
off.
shirt while he walks.
Yeah.
While we go there.
yeah. Gonna be presentable.
I
Do you
put the ring of
oil
light
up?
on my wedding finger so people don't hit on me.
I'm sure
Lols.
Alistar gets hit on all of the time.
Alistair, I have a thing for married men. You just made
One-armed
yourself a
married
target.
Bro, Alistair, besides the fact that he has only one working arm, is a very beautiful man.
Same.
It's that charisma shining through.
Mm-hmm.
Kane's just blue.
Dabba-dee dabba-die.
Kane's a good-looking guy, but he's blue.
But what's your charisma score?
14.
Eh.
Yeah.
Okay, so after you've all had time to pamper yourselves, you sort of gather out in what would be sort of the foyer area. Ethna's there, and she says, "All right, so if you're all up for it, I'd like you to come meet the boss."
Let's go see the
And
boss
she
man.
sort of guides you down a hall, out into sort of the main central chamber, and then down a different wing of the building. As you're about to go into that wing, there are some guards stationed there, and one of them does, I mean, they do just sort of glance you over, and one of them says, "We'll take any weapons at this point. They will all be held for you until you're done with whatever business you have."
I put my fist in his hand.
Or, your magical shuriken with.
Well, those two.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give him my crossbow and daggers, which no one has ever seen me use before. Just
have
have
What
it.
crossbow?
You have a crossbow?
And you see that they...
Kane actually says this out loud. Like, you have a crossbow and daggers?
Yeah,
He's
it'd
been carrying it this whole time.
be unwise to not come prepared.
And as Alistair takes out his weapons, you see them sort of take out like a deep bin. They put them in it, and then the cover's taken down. It's locked, and he hands the key to Alistair and says, "When you come back, just give this to us, and we'll retrieve the things
Kane-
for you."
He hands over his bow and rapier.
Okay. All right.
Suspicious. What are you hiding?
Have we seen Kane use daggers before? Can't really think of it.
Probably.
Yeah, he's mainly used his bow.
Yeah, no, if he'd used daggers, I'd tell him to give them up too, but I don't actually think I've seen him
Alright.
use daggers.
Is everyone else allowing
Yeah.
their weapons to be taken?
Yeah,
Yeah.
except my fists. I'm not allowing them to cut them off.
All right.
Should we
my
tell
things.
them about the cursed ruby?
Esta knows.
So
We're good.
you hand over your things, and you start walking through. As Kane walks through the archway going into the next section, you hear
Metal
sort
detector.
of like a siren sound go off. And actually, well, actually no, you don't see anything else happen, but you see a siren sound. You hear a siren just for a few seconds, and then it stops. And then you see one of the guards sort of slump his shoulders and look down and looks up at you, Kane, and says, "Sir, we'll need you to hand over all of your weapons."
Everyone stare.
Yeah, at this point, we turn around and I give Kane a stare.
Can I like put my hands on my... Oh, Kane.
Fine. I hand over a dagger.
Both of them?
You naughty boy.
What? I guess they have some sort of weapon detecting device.
If you want, I'll say to the guard, we can just leave him here with you. That'd make you feel better.
He looks at the bin and says, "They'll probably fit."
Sweet.
Is there like a care area that you can...
A playpen.
Fine. Kane hands over both of the daggers.
Okay.
You have...
And your ceremonial knife. I'm
Oh
sorry.
God! Just hoping you forget about that.
I'm looking at your character sheet right now, boy.
No! Why are you doing this to me? Okay, fine. I hand over the ceremonial knife too.
Okay, and your poisons? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, alright.
That's really strange.
I won't take this to ridiculous levels. Alright, So yeah, so at that point, you all continue on. There's a large set of double doors, but you come up to it. It opens easily. Ethna leads you through, and you come to the office of Emil Stormtreader, and that is where we end it for tonight.
Instead of Emil Stormtreader, it's a Tarask.
Rip GG.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Better yet, I'm just gonna stealth away from the Tarask. We're good.
Or actually, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me think about something.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just actually considering something now. You know what? I made that up on the spot, but as I think about it more, considering the situation, I'm gonna go back and do something differently. When the guard asks for your weapons, Ethna actually produces a letter and hands it to them and says, "Bear with me, it's okay." And he reads it and lets you all pass without giving up your crowd.
Haha.
I'm
Ooh.
undoing that because, like I said, I made that up on the spot, and now that I think about it a little bit more, they would actually let you keep your shit. So
we
So as
can't
fun as it
blame
was to go
Kane for
through
trying
that
to smuggle
entire-
weapons.
yeah, as fun as it was to go through that entire process with Kane, you all still have your shit.
Maybe they wouldn't let Kane keep his stuff because he openly talks about poison.
Oh, wait,
in the
wait.
last
Can
game.
she bring the letter up right after he had finished handing
Yeah.
it over
All right, so now I'll give
everything?
him the key back and
Okay.
have him unlock all of our
Yeah,
stuff.
she goes like, "Oh wait, this letter."
Oh, actually, come to think of it, that way I don't have to retcon anything. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
you open the double doors, you're about to go in. She's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Do you guys want your stuff after all?"
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
God,
I
have
don't
this
need
letter.
it. I'm actually fine without
My
it.
apologies.
Nah, I'm
I can be
cool.
so forgetful sometimes. She
You mean
guides you all
terrible.
back. The guard, like, sighs and looks up again at her. Anyone who wants can make an insight roll.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Woo!
So
Kane.
Fallon, Kane, and Halal, you all gather that this is not the first time that Ethna has forgotten something like this. Anyways, and then she guides you through another hallway, up some stairs, and then you get to the office of Emil Stormchatter, and that is where we end it for the night. Ta-da.
Nice. We've had 2 endings tonight so far.
What's wrong with talking about murder openly?
I'm
Lots
gonna
of
stop the
things.
recording right there.